Nyan everyone, this is Thermites, and this is Weekly Shonen Jump for the week of August 23rd, 2020. On the cover, we have Noelle and... what is her name? Well, we have the two main characters of Burn the Witch, previously a one-shot, now an actual full-on limited series. So not a full-on series, just a limited series. I am super duper excited. It is, of course, by Tite Kubo, creator of Bleach. It is also tied into Bleach. Mild spoilers there. We're gonna see what this is, I guess. I don't know if this is a retelling of the contents of the one-shot, or if this is a sequel to the one-shots. I was talking with my good friend Tequila Zaku, and he didn't let anything slip, but he did say that, he didn't fully get what was going on, which makes me think that this is, in fact, a sequel. Also, to be fair, it's been a while since I've seen the one-shots. I don't remember their hair clips. Like, specifically the fact that they kind of look like they have horns almost. That's interesting. I'm also really, really hoping that Kubo got better with the plaid, because one of my big pet peeves in I'd say any drawn medium is plaid that is like pasted on something. This plaid does look like it's actually drawn, which I really like, but I'm terrified that in the manga itself it's gonna be pasted on again. Anyways, uh, nothing else is really nothing else is a super big returning series or a big change up. I of course dropped Actage last week. Also, it's not Writing and Jump anymore, so kind of obvious. Yeah, nothing else is super crazy. I thought we would have more crazy stuff going on because now there are two slots open. But yeah, I guess Burn the Witch is taking one, and they weren't expecting to have a second slot, so they're just kind of leaving it open, I guess. Or more likely, now that I think about it, something's probably running that they just didn't translate into English. I mean, to be fair, we have all of Jump now in English, so I can't really complain about the one or two things they don't translate. Whatever, it's fine. Let us jump into Black Clover. Oh, Black Clover chapter 261, Shadows of Night. This is a really cool visual. It works really well for digital as well. Uh, it doesn't have any grayness to it. It's very digital looking. It looks like concept art for a season of the anime or something. This is not what I think of when I think of a color page for manga. It looks, again, I don't like Asta's arm. I don't think it looks like, the personification of strength or anything. It doesn't give off that feel. But now seeing it in color, I actually do really like that it's, black with big red cracks all the way up until it gets to his hand, and then his hand is all red with the black cracks. That's pretty cool. And the black and red also really fits with his bandana now. Yeah, it looks much better in color. And I guess this is supposed to be the cover image for this entire arc, the Let's Get Yami Back arc, now that I think about it. Because this feels very definitive. This feels like when the anime gets here, which, the anime is so fast, it's probably going to get here in 5 weeks. But when it gets here, this is probably what they're going to use for a big hype image for the anime, even. It's so perfect. It's such a good image. Okay, so with the pace of Black Clover, I was expecting the Black Bulls to just immediately start running towards the Diamond Kingdom or something, but okay, no. Thank God, finally, little downtime, little time to heal Asta, little time for everyone, I assume, to heal. Huh, okay. So, yeah, it's total unknown. There's nothing I can do for it. I assumed, much like any of his other transformations, that it would just go away. That it is just a temporary thing. But if it's staying on even now, A, presumably it's full of anti-magic, so they couldn't heal it no matter what. But B, if it's going to always be on, that actually makes a lot more sense as a devilish thing, a scary, evil, contract with a devil. If it is just a permanent blight on him now. Okay, huh. The true nature of your magic may not be transformation. Huh, I don't know how I would get that from this. I can understand. There's of course the famous quote of, there is no difference between a living human and a dying human, or it's all the same amount of matter. So I do think transformation would make sense as a, he's got the big wound, but all of his matter is still there. All I have to do is put it back into place the way it would be if he was fine, and then he'll be fine. But what could it be if not transformation then? Because also transformation's a big, wide word. Like, that makes a lot of sense as just, sort of a big catch-all. Okay, so we're gonna just kind of hang on that, which is fine. Like, we know so little about Gray. So I'm excited to see more with her eventually. Okay. Oh, the arm's so beefy too. I mean, Asta in general is extremely beefy, but that shot definitely makes it look like even bigger than his other arm. Oh, Yami's sword is in the grimoire. Oh, I really like that as both a show of like, yeah, he does have it, but also like none of that was a dream. Like that all really happens. He would not have specifically Yami's katana if that had not happened. Okay, was he paralyzed or something? How would this person know this? Like, is this someone in league with the devils? Like, knowing that, yeah, even the devil you're counting on is giving you up as hopeless, and then you don't understand the right arm very well either? Like, this has to be someone who has some connection to devils. Now, like, this seems way too much like this guy is just baiting him now. Like, this has to be a test, right? This has to be I just wanted to see if you would react to that, Asta. Right? There's no way a person who actually hates Yami would say it, like, would go this hard. Oh! Also, what could this be? Like, it looks pure black. It looks like darkness magic. Is this someone else who has darkness magic? Because we know, like, in order to, to connect this world to the underworld, they need darkness magic and they need world tree magic, implying that darkness magic inherently has some connection to demons. So maybe this is, like, another member of Yami's clan or something? You're a fool, but you're a good person. Okay, yeah, obviously. Okay. I'm the vice captain of the Black Bulls. Knocked. Okay, so we did see very briefly, like a couple, it had to have been like 20 chapters now, but we did see the vice captain very briefly. Or actually, I guess we didn't even know that he was the vice captain. It was just, there's a figure with a Black Bulls thing that that we had unaccounted for. So everyone kind of assumed it was the Black. Oh, who the hell is that? Because, like, that's his wag. This, I assume, must be his devil, then. Oh, yeah, obviously Devil Tail there. Okay. It would explain a lot about, Yami is the guy who will take in all the misfits. But if he also had some level of kinship with someone who also has, a big connection to devils, that would also explain why he was so down with Gang Asta. Oh, also, the Grimoire. I mean, maybe there's supposed to be a Clover on it somewhere, but I mean, there's a giant diamond on it, which makes me think he's probably like a Diamond Kingdom native then, which would make a lot of sense. Like, if he, like, maybe not that he's a member of the Dark Triad, but that, there's some connection there. Like, the Diamond Kingdom has more devil connection and creation knowledge in general, and the Dark Triad just happens to, make the big moves and become super powerful. But then Noct here was also able to make a contract, but he's generally a good person. Because, like, having the Veg and also, like, being from the Diamond Kingdom would be two very good reasons for no one to want to do anything with him except for Yami. Also, like, this could just be, like, the lighting, but it looks like he has a slightly darker skin tone. Actually, yeah, I think that's gotta be lighting, because Asta has exactly the same skin tone here. And, like, his name is Noct Knight, so I assume it is supposed to be more of a, general darkness thing. I was kind of hoping he was a foreigner. But God, really good chapter. Like, I'm glad we had a moment to just sit with Asta's pain. And this wasn't super over the top. Like, I guess you could say it's a little rote, but I think it's fine. Like, Asta seems traumatized. He seems really freaked out, and even, despite all of that, if someone insults Yami, he immediately goes for the sword. And, like, he does his best, even though he's clearly not doing very well. I also think this panel of him is really good. Like, I didn't say anything as I was looking at it, but it really gives off this big despair. Or not big despair, just big crying energy. Like, he does look like a kid crying. It isn't a super shonen badass cry or anything. Like, he's got the big, squinty, puffy eyes. Like, he doesn't look cool there at all. I'm always impressed whenever a series does that. Alright, so that's Black Clover. I really need to put this in the middle, because I know, like, my entire screen is shunted off a little, so you're still able to see it if it's over there, but I need to get better at, putting everything in the visible frame. Anyways, fantastic Black Clover. let's move on to Bone Collection, Chapter 15. Final chapter. Oh boy, okay, this is it. It is ending. I mean, to be fair, the whole, using her ribcage to summon a giant reality marble almost that is a big church for them to get married in, that makes sense for a big finale. But at the same time, it does feel very rushed. Like, especially because they're still on the premises, like, they're still fighting QB. Okay, so the reason why he wasn't going along with it because he was down with it. He was just surprised because it's going so fast. Fine. Yeah, so it is literally a reality marble. Like, she has created like an entire area that is just this chapel is a condensed space that you can't escape from. I mean, it does show the overwhelming level of strength that this isn't a fight. It is just hey, I decided to get married, and as a small corollary, I can kill the final boss. Oh, and as she's doing it, I guess because this must be draining a ton of power, like, she is becoming more and more human. And jumping all the way back to his first friends. I can tell you will, one day, be the one who'll bridge the gap between yokai and humans. Okay. Yeah, there's no way she's allowing this. Like, she's going right for the lips. So... Oh, that's so stupid. I mean, because we had one fake out, there's no way... I mean, clearly her power is enough to keep him contained, but there's no way this isn't also a fake out. Not gonna lie, I actually do like, for an ending that is super rushed, I do appreciate the concept of just, we have now created a separate mini dimension where we're getting married, and we can teleport anyone we want into it. Like, it's so wacky in its existence. Like, by the very nature of how weird it is, it goes from being super rushed to like, I get it, it's fine. Oh, they're gonna win him over by showing that, you can just party. But he doesn't get to party. Even though, this is almost entirely humans, though. It's basically just Milk Boy who's a yokai here. Well, I mean, also Beichan. I forgot about Beichan. 5 years later. Oh, boy. I do appreciate how, kinetic this whole panel is. Like, it does feel like a big... We did a long series now, all your friends are here, even though it's barely anyone. Like, there's so few characters, but it still works. Oh no! Please don't call it the Bone Bus! Also, is this Pyra? Because if it is, she's still half and half, she's not human. Okay, so I mean, again, definitely, this was definitely not the intended ending, or not, this wasn't meant to come here. But I do appreciate the big, the big view of it. Like, this isn't a tiny little, I guess yokai and humans will be fine. It's a 5 years later, the world is different. We got, big projections in the sky. The prison island is now a terminal that connects the yokai and human worlds. Like, it's so wild. I mean, this is also a very, very clear analog for, Descent Against the Police, now that I think about it. I mean, the series in general had, from the very start, it had this very big undertone of yokai are, people think they're scary, but they are oppressed, and the Exorcist society is extremely xenophobic and just, prejudiced against yokai for no real reason, apart from some bad ones occasionally lash out, but we don't talk to them at all. And, this whole series has been going towards this idea of, what if we try to talk to the yokai? Like, what if we see what their deal is? So this is honestly a really good move to make. Like, if you're going to have a rushed final chapter, I think this is this is so much better. Like, to devote half the chapter to just, hey, here are the big themes of the series, and we couldn't actually, naturally go towards this, but we're gonna just do it anyways. Now, it is a little concerning that the main reason that yokai are now accepted is because young people believe that they are cute, or have come to realize that they're cute. But I mean, I guess that's also reality. Because of these things, the Exorcist Federation became smaller, and the samurai was forced to part-time jobs. Reno is such a weird character. Like, this does make logical sense for her to go from extremely talented but ignored to like literally one of the 4 exorcist kings, and also just bugging him over and over again, and he just doesn't like check the app anymore. Like, it actually does make a lot of sense. I am really glad that they didn't force a love triangle. Like, from the start, it has been, she's really strong and extremely annoying, and then she just kind of is still that for the whole series. Like, it'd be a problem if we didn't have a bunch of other female characters in the series, which is what I was worried about. Like, I was worried she would be the main character you're supposed to take seriously, but she is mostly just a gag, so it's fine. Okay, so they're just, like, in the tourism industry now. And that's actually really cool. Like, it is also harkening back to the early chapters with, this super harmless yokai that people don't like, but, they also don't attack them. That is such an explicit anti-xenophobia stance. Like, holy crap. I'm also not totally sure what this is. Like, what is he doing with the yokai spell here? I guess it is he's transmuting part of the yokai into a teddy bear and then just keeping it on it. It's alright. I mean, I do think the main problem is that, like, even with 15 chapters, like, I have read short but good romance series, and I do think, like, the strength of the series was never the romance aspect. It was primarily a calm rom-com. Like, or I'd say even, like, a social com? Like, it was like, the things that drew me to the series were, the way they talked about yokai, and then also the comedic aspect of it. But they really didn't build up a serious romance here. And so it does bother me that the ending has to be this big, like, they are in love, but it is very understated because, or not understated, like, they do openly, like, Pyra especially openly loves Kazumi, but I don't really feel a spark there. Like, I'm not happy that they're together. But at the same time, like, I do think it would be a very depressing ending if they left it at, we're friends, but we just realized that we don't like each other. I mean, it would be depressing in the sense that it'd be very hard to work through that change from wanting to get married to just being friends in a single chapter without it feeling like, like Pyra is being forced to back down. So, but at the same time, like, especially because, like, it is the crux of the finale. Like, a big part of the reason why why the Exorcists were then defunded. By the way, yes, defund the Exorcists. But a big part of that in the integration, it's all because ultimately Kazumi and Pyra are like the lead couple for interspecies romance. Like, it is them together as a loving couple that makes this work, which means that, like, if the linchpin that is making this work is not something I am invested in, I also can't, like, even if I'm socially down for it, I don't have this emotional connection to the end of the series, which sucks. I mean, I do think part of this is also almost certainly due to, like, overthinking the run of the series. Like, I can envision that, yeah, QB was definitely meant to be a small stepping stone. Like, the sisters especially felt like a big, like, hey, we're going to show a new set of characters that use the yokai spell, and then, big villain that isn't even that big. Like, the whole invasion arc was super truncated comedically. It was clearly done as, like, a small stepping stone to just add more characters to the cast. And having to turn that into the finale, it feels real clunky. So I definitely think that the mangaka could have done a lot better. Like, if the mangaka had known that this arc, if the whole QB arc was going to be the finale, I think there are a lot of things they could have done better. But it also depends on, like, what did they know about this? Like, when were they told that this is going to be the ending? Like, overall, I've seen much worse endings. And I do appreciate the decision to go full on with the message as opposed to, trying to, I guess that's our thing. Like, if they had focused too much on making this final chapter more romantic, it may have come at the cost of, like, the social commentary. And it does seem like, yeah, like, if you're gonna choose one, I guess it's okay, but, like, oh, it's so mixed! Like, even the party! Like, the party's so meh! And we also don't really talk about QB. It's like the ending for QB is just, oh, you're seeing yokai and humans having fun together, but you don't get to have fun. I mean, I guess the implication, actually, now that I think about it, the implication is that this thing kills him, right? I took that as a joke before, that, the only way, the true way to defeat QB is to enjoy the party. I mean, first of all, also, bad typesetting. But secondarily, I thought it was going to be a, like, an emotional thing. Like, first of all, it was a, you're gonna kill QB by joining the party. Then it was a, oh, because you're excluding him, he's going to learn the error of his ways. But it does seem like it was just by partying together, they powered up the skeleton and then it killed him. It's a real mixed bag. I don't regret reading it, but it's certainly not a Last Sayuki, where I would actively say, like, if you have not read The Last Sayuki, go read it. Even though it was canceled, it is still a fantastic series that is worth reading as is. Whereas Bone Collection, I don't think I'm going to recommend it to anyone. It was fine as is, but at the same time, it's just fine. There's so many manga out there that are just fine that I like, where I wouldn't recommend them unless someone specifically says, hey, I really want to read a series about a boy who absorbs yokai powers and then, you know, marries a yokai. Anyways, that's it. If you've been following me on the Bone Collection Bone Train, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's move on to We Never Learn, chapter 170. You know, I still wonder why it is that I decided to re-pick it up for this, but it really does come down to the fact that sometimes I'm reading Jump and I don't feel super good about the chapters. Whereas I mean, for the most part, I've been down with We Never Learn. I will say, last volume was pretty and the volume before that was also kind of So, we'll see. If Tomorrow Night's Pixie does not turn things around, if I don't thoroughly enjoy this one, then I'm not going to keep on reading it for the Sensei arc, but I want to. I want to hope. I hate getting vaccines. Yeah. These kids are so open. I do really think the hole in the wall is such a good, like, it's such a perfect We Never Learn aesthetic. The hole in the wall with the shower curtain, with the, like, bar used to hang towels. It's the perfect, like, DIY, goofy, Three's Company-esque way to solve this problem. Like, specifically the fact that it is a shower curtain and that clearly, like, it is expected that Naruyuki is going to crawl through there as opposed to leaving his apartment and then walking into the door of her apartment. Yeah, I mean, this has extremely powerful vibes from their high school days. Now, if this is her arc, she's gotta stop doing this. I mean, or, like, not stop doing it, but she's gotta, you know, commit to actually treating him like a normal person as opposed to constantly screwing with him. Like, that is what I like about it. And I mean, the term Tomorrow Night's Pixie does imply that, I mean, the pixie thing also refers to her short stature, but I think it also, like, as opposed to Thumbelina, I think it refers specifically to her pixiest nature. Like, the fact that she is, like, this being that you can't quite grasp, that who is, like, just sort of fluttery and she does whatever she wants. So I think that is going to factor into it. Like, I think the ending of this arc is going to be her, like, like, it's going to be the two of them in an actual relationship, but she is still going to be teasing him about something. Oh, right! I've even brought up Three's Company, but I didn't consider the idea of, oh yeah, like, the landlord wouldn't want both of them in a single apartment, so that's why they have to move through the hole. Okay, fine. Now, I don't trust Shima. I'm really scared, because, like, this had better not transition into a Shima arc. Like, the fluffy hair, the fact that she only has one eye covered, like, she's got this, like, very minor goth, like, cute energy to her that I don't trust. Like, I'm sure people have made bad fan art of her already, and I don't want that to bleed into this arc because we don't have time. You can be the health coordinator. So this is now taking him as a teacher, but then transitioning it into, I mean, first of all, he's wearing the tracksuit, so I imagine, like, because it's a small island, I guess he does a little of everything, and now he's going to specifically be the health coordinator, which means that he gets to work with the nurse, which means, of course, the two of them get to do a lot of stuff together. But I guess that also makes sense because, like, in the Sensei arc, I assumed that was going to be when he would go full teacher, and this would make sense to give him and us, like, a taste of Yuiga as a teacher, and then we can fully explore it in the, the teacher arc. I mean, that said, this is also some good, like, we gotta prepare these kids reading Jump. Like, once we get a COVID-19 vaccine, they're gonna have to almost certainly be injected with it, so let's just prepare them right now. That is actually really cool. Like, yeah, like, she has been not antisocial, but like her doctor side and her maid side are two extremely separate things. And I think like it would make sense like not I don't think she's going to cosplay as a maid while giving these kids injections, but I think that like in a more emotional sense, she has to bridge that gap. She has to, take her customer care experience and her ability to empathize with people because she can genuinely empathize with people, but she has to do that while also being a doctor. Like it is a melding of personalities. Ah, you were a kid once, Sensei. I mean, it's also cool that we're getting like, super young kids as opposed to teenagers, where like, like it's a completely different level of relatability. Like these are not their peers, and these are not like people who they knew when they were in high school. Like little kids are so different, so it makes a lot of sense that there's a gap of just not brain power, but like what these kids have considered in life that you have to bridge. Oh boy! Now this, I don't think I can say I call it. I don't think that's fair. But okay, so this actually makes it like this would make it a lot clearer if the goal of this is going to be you gotta merge your bubbly maid side with your serious doctor side. If we get to see her doing both. I do appreciate the way Taishi is able to still have Asumi be short while at the same time like clearly showing that yes, she has physically developed a little more. Oh no! It's so Yandere-esque. Okay, are you afraid of real human patients? I mean, she does know the value of human life, so maybe it is that. Maybe it is, like, we do know part of it is that she was trembling when she was trying to inject the kids. But I didn't really consider that it was her problem as much as it was a, she's trembling because these are kids specifically, as opposed to because they're human beings. By the way, I do think this is so cool. Like, I've had many injections and many, like, blood transfusions and stuff, just both through donating blood and then also through I mean, part of it is just normal like vaccines and stuff. Part of it was going to a school that had a very big medical segment, so you could just say like, hey, I'm cool with having someone try like usually you would have a nurse do this, but instead I'll have a nurse in training give me my flu shot or whatever. And so I've gone through the gamut, and there is a big gap in injection giving to the point where if someone gives me injection and I don't really feel it very much, I do praise them because that is really good. But like, yeah, if you're very good at like delivering the injection and you can also distract the person at the same time, it works really well. I find a lot of people don't really study up on the first part, so they just try to distract you by talking. But then the needle actually hurts a lot. And then, of course, you have the real bad mess ups when, a student is trying to inject you and they stab you in the arm 3 times. They're like, I'm sorry, I don't know where the vein is. Also, like, part of this is calming down the kids and, distracting them. But is it also that, by talking to them a little bit and, by remembering all of this, she's also being distracted? Ah, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised we made this revelation in chapter 2 of all things. Because, yeah, this is correct. This is what she needs to work on. How are we going to do a full volume after this? I mean, I guess it's going to be this isn't a perfect cure. Like, she still has to work at it. But, I don't know, it seems like we did the big jump from how do I do this to I know how to do it. I don't remember what that thing is. But, yeah, it's like the little mascot that she likes that I believe he bought that for her. Like, was it from a Crane game or something? Ah, good chapter 2. I mean, it is very meat and potatoes. It's very predictable, but at the same time, it's fine. And I'm curious to see where we go with this. Like, what is the actual problem going to be if this is not the big problem? Like, if this is not what we're focusing on for this entire thing. Oh, I forgot to rank Bone Collection final chapter. First of all, let me just slap an end tag on this. Bone Collection should go... I mean, it's gotta go below Black Clover. It wasn't that good. And then We Never Learn between Black Clover and Bone Collection. Like, it was a fine chapter, but it was also, like, definitely not the best. Whereas, like, this was a solid We Never Learn, and then Black Clover was exceptional this week. So, with that, I think it's time for the live stream. Alright, next we have Burn the Witch, Chapter 1. Whew, okay, good. Thank you, thank goodness. So, this is, of course, Burn the Witch, Chapter 1, the limited series by Tite Kubo. I do not know whether this, whether this is a sequel to the one-shot, or whether we are just kind of doing the one-shot again. So, I will say that I have read the one-shots. I'll, go maybe a page or two before I say anything about the one-shot, just in case this is a retelling of it. That would explain, oh yes, homie, I did in fact read the One Piece chapter. Donut and I recorded it, prior to this. Yeah, it would make sense then that, we're seeing, now these names. There is a, let's see. This, black hair is Noelle. Blonde hair is, you know what? I'm gonna wait until the series actually starts. Or until I go into it. But yeah, decent enough color page. Also, the plaid here is actually drawn. I was talking about the cover of Jump recently, or when I started this, when I say recently, and I really appreciate that the plaid here is also actually drawn as opposed to being copied and pasted. Really, really hoping he keeps it up for the manga itself. I don't think he's going to, which I'm real scared about. Also, homie, I think I know what you're talking about in terms of, yeah. And I will say I'm hoping for the best with Wano, with the thing you're talking about in particular. I'm willing to give Oda the benefit of the doubt, but I am a little worried. I'm a little scared. We'll see how it goes. And this probably isn't very interesting if you don't read One Piece, so I'm going to leave it at that for now. We can definitely talk about it in the One Piece channel after this, though. Also, what in the world is this? I've been trying to silently read it for a bit. It's, don't abuse dragons, let's eat... Is it just, let's eat animals? We got the ALS back here. So, but I don't know what the rest of this is. That could be... I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll see it in the chapter itself. But I'm sure... I also don't know what that would mean. I don't know what the phrase, don't abuse dragons, let's eat animals means. But yeah, actually, now, you're probably very mad because I'm not starting this chapter, but... Okay, so the one-shot and the limited series both, they cover the same thing. Cool. Or not, what I mean, what I'm trying to say... What I said is not what I meant. What I wanted to say is, this feed has the one-shot and then also the limited series in the same thing. Oh, really, homie? Okay. So I was also wondering, is the anime going to be, just a third thing altogether? Or are we, going to slightly adapt it or something? But yeah, it looks like, I assume then that these are being created in tandem. Anyways, I'm gonna move on. Otherwise, they're going to stay on that color page all day. Aren't fairy tales just full of it? So punk from the very start. Girl gets hit by a magic spell, turns into a princess, gets to wear a pretty dress, gets to make believe she's picking out some hot guy, but ends up getting chosen herself instead. Now, what is that? This sounds very Cinderella, except for the make believe she's picking out some hot guy, but ends up getting chosen herself. That feels like it's definitely this character speaking then. Ninny, that's it. It's, is she in reverse London right now, or just normal London? Did you really break up with TJ? Oh, right. I forgot, she's a celebrity, right? In the one-shot, we have the whole big billboard where she was, advertising something, and the billboard was broken, and yeah. None of you have any idea why the spell actually wears off. It's so weird, because usually, when a character starts talking about a fairy tale thing, in any series really, it's usually extremely rote, extremely by the book, and then you contrast what really happens with what they're talking about. But the way she's phrasing this is so, it's so unique. I assume she's talking about fame then, right? Also, that's different. Before, I mean, to be fair, it's been a while since I've read the one-shots. Before, I thought it was that she would take the token and put it into a, a phone, right? Whereas this is, I assume, just a more modernized version of it. It also feels much less Harry Potter now that I think about it. Like, the Ministry works the same way, where there's like a payphone and you have to put a coin into it. Whereas this is way more modern, and also it's just more unique and different. If idiots are the only ones who get bewitched, I'd rather be the one casting the spell. And so she's wearing a shirt that says Burn the Witch on it, which we still don't know what that means. I was going to say that before we kind of got off track with One Piece, but like the one shot did not say what Burn the Witch means at all, apart from, you know, there are witches in the series. But like, what does that have to do with anything? I guess, you know, dragons burn and then witch, the witches. But clearly it has some sort of in-universe significance as well, right? I mean, to be fair, Tite Kubo is also the kind of guy who will just slap the chapter title on Yoruichi's ass in the middle of a shot, so this could also just be a non-diegetic, but I assume this is a real shirt she's wearing. Now, can I assume that this is also non-diegetic, or is this actually happening? It's so stylish! I've gotta say, though, the way that, I can never remember her name, please, series, tell me her name real fast. But, like, this pose with her arm makes it look like she has a tiny little baby arm. Which is Noelle, yes. Like, Nini here looks really good. Noelle looks kind of terrifying, like, it's the combination of the boobs and the tiny hands. Like, I know it's just perspective, but it bothers me so much, and, like, this arm even, it's hard for me to tell that it's far away, as opposed to just being tiny. I gotta stop looking at it. Tip of the finger, edge of voice razor, iron key of Joe Revenger. Close the eyes at the horn's timber, 5 fetters and 3 chains somber. So this is obviously a Western Kido, right? I mean, actually, we've seen Kido number 31, right? Is that not the big blue fireball that Ryukiya uses all the time? Like, would we then be saying that both the chants and the magic itself are, like, you know, just the Western versions of the Japanese Kido? I mean, if so, I'm glad to know that the Western version of these poems is just as insane as the Eastern versions. Honestly, probably worse. Like, to be fair, it's been a while since I've listened to the poems that accompany each Kido, but I remember most of them making sense to some extent. Whereas Iron Key of Joe Revenger does not immediately call to mind anything that makes sense. Okay, so, I mean, to be fair, I don't remember what the Eastern version of Spell 31 actually was called. I just remember Ryukiya screaming the name over and over and over again when I was playing the Wii game Bleach vs. Crusade. Maybe Dark Box. I could see that. Like, the Western version of Black Coffin is just the Dark Box. Also, I love this aspect of the series, that, like, before she was saying that, you know, she was freaked out over the buds, like, blooming on the antlers. And I assumed that was going to be a, like, oh, it's going to be something super dangerous, but now that I think about it, it's almost certainly just that the buds are very valuable, and so they don't want this to happen. Like, they don't want, like, entire flower to just be annihilated for no good reason. Ah, finally! Right. So, Nini Spankole is, of course, a pop star. Nihashi Noelle is a student. I kind of forgot this dynamic. It's so weird. I do think this, like, these 2 pages are so perfect. Like, I love them as not a 2-page spread, but, you know, just as 2 pages that are facing each other. Like, it does show the big parallel between the 2 of them, and, like, one shot is of Nini, like, you know, looking up from Noelle's perspective. The other one is, it's so good. It's so simple, but it's so good. Also, the plaid is very clearly digitally composited, but it's not bothering me too much right now. Like, if Kubo has to do it, at the very least, I hope he does it decently. There are definitely a few shots from the one shot where I went, oh boy, I hate this. Okay. In truth, dragons are neither mythical nor creatures, per se. I mean, neither mythical thing makes sense, but not creatures. What could that possibly mean? Because, like, clearly, dragons are not, like, hollows or anything. See, I probably should have, like, gone through the one-shot and taken notes, but I wasn't sure if this was going to be, like, the same content but expanded, or if it was going to be a sequel. So I didn't want to, like, taint my mind with, you know, preconceived notions. That said, like, by next week I will have read both the one-shot and the first chapter again, to make sure I understand what's going on. Especially because, like, this is Kubo. And since we have Western Keto, I assume we're going to eventually see all the stuff in Bleach, but with completely different names. Which, I mean, if there's one thing Kubo likes, it is doing a thing and then giving it a completely different name for a different faction. So I'm excited to learn all these names again. Oh, Boy Donut's giving me the sad face. He doesn't understand it. He hasn't gone past the Bleach hump. And yeah, they fixed the sign. They have the giant screen up here again. So yeah. Very clearly after the one shots. That's actually pretty cool. So I guess they do work on commission, or not commission per se. Like they do clock in every day, but then like they are paid by the amount they do. That's also so privileged. So it's not that Nini can't take her extreme wealth and transfer it over here. She 100% can. She just doesn't want to, which is even more insane because Noelle's a student. I imagine she doesn't have a lot of money in either London, let alone, enough to transfer. Oh no, they have Chivos as well. I hate this. It's so gamified. I mean, I guess that is Western civilization in this world. You can't just have Soul Society, which is this weird fascist organization. You have to just have it be more free and more, like, it does make more sense. It is more of a meritocracy, but at the same time, it's so gamified. This crowd shot's also very bad because, like, everyone's just wearing pure plaid. Like, one thing I do like about the girls is, if you're gonna paste plaid on them, at the very least, like, most of their design is not the plaid. So, like, the plaid catches your eyes. It does look really cool in some shots, like, not all of them, but in some of them. But, boy, the boys look so garbage. It's just a sea of plaid.
It's also such a flat image. Like, it's just pasted onto it.
Yeah, it's just in the background layer. Hey, okay, so I did notice in the cover page that Balgo is not in fact wearing the slave shirt anymore. Now he's wearing a canine shirt. And I don't know if that means that he's upgraded from slave to now he gets to walk the dog, or if it's that he is himself equal to the dog. I mean, I guess that is moving up from slave to canine. Now, how do they deal with this? Like, Osushi is very literally, he is a dark dragon. He is bad. Oh no, what did Viz do? Oh no! I'm gonna just refresh my page real quick. I'm going to assume that Viz didn't just upload the same page twice. Now, it looks like Viz uploaded the same page twice here. Oh no! Well, I guess I'm just gonna keep on going and hope that this is not, in fact, hopefully they didn't, overwrite a page. I'm hoping this is fine. Actually, I guess I could check Manga Plus now that I think about it. I mean, do let me know if this is silly and I shouldn't be doing it, but... I mean, the downside is, of course, I've got to use Manga Plus for this. Okay, yeah, that is a unique page. Boy, Viz, what did you do? Okay, they're translating it as Dragonclad this time. To be fair, I don't remember what they said before, but I remember the gist of it just being that, as a result of, being stained with, Osushi's energy, like, he is now cursed. Like, he should be killed, but instead they're saying that, we can't kill him. Okay, and so I did skip forward a little bit, so I did see the image of their former trainer. Jeez, are you kidding me? So, I mean, I did distinctly remember it because I really liked the gag of it. He did move on from Pipers to Sabers in the one shot because he just kind of said, like, oh yeah, that was all me. I adore the image of his jacket. He's pointing at it with both thumbs. Okay, I guess he's just back. Now, the big question is, what do the achievement... I mean, I guess the achievement points would just be a way to go from being in Pipers to Sabers. But then that also brings up the question of, are the achievement points scaled in any way? Like, clearly, managing dragons is really, really important, but it also seems like they don't have a lot of help doing this. Whereas, Saber seems to be, packed. I mean, I say that, but in the one-shot, all the Sabers also, went off to fight one dragon, leaving Reverse London completely defenseless. So, maybe they are, maybe they do still need recruits desperately. Ooh, okay. So they're getting extra money, they're getting bonus achievements. What a strange motivation here. Like, yeah, you're doing it for the money. I'm doing it for the achievements. I'm rich, but I'm not going to help you with the money side of things. They're such a weird duo. And if anyone asks, we're doing it for social justice. They're so garbage. I mean, I do appreciate them as people. Like, I am saying garbage, but I do like them. I do think this is a really cool status quo. Especially for a series that isn't meant to go on forever. Like, they do feel like a duo that could have tons and tons of stories. So the fact that they're getting, like, 6 chapters of manga, I believe, and 1 TV show or maybe movie, one of the two, like, yeah. Okay, they translated it as merit instead of achievements. We'll see how it goes, but as of right now, like, just from the screen they were looking at before, I do think achievement makes a lot of sense. It does feel very gamey, as opposed to more of a, like, old school meritocracy thing. So I guess they mean essentially the same thing. When it comes to dragon management, there's one absolute rule. Ordinary citizens are forbidden from interacting with dragons. Oh no, he's not getting recompense for this window. Now, this is actually, I mean, this is a really good reverse shakedown in the sense of he can't sue them because there is the ever-present fear of her then saying, oh, you came into contact with a dragon. It also does feel very BDSM. It is very much, you gotta lick my phone. When Dragotoxin levels past certain thresholds, they become dragon-clad. So I guess this series will explore what that actually means. Like, what is going on with Balgo? Clearly, it's not that he's going to instantly turn into a dark dragon or anything. Like, it's not so bad that they have to 100% kill him. Like, they were able to grant him a stay of execution. But at the same time, like, there's got to be an actual problem there. Otherwise, they wouldn't make it, like, such a draconian law. Dragonclad are infected with disease from prolonged... Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons. And it does seem like it is whenever he expresses emotion? Ah, Pep. I do really like this, by the way. Like, it does remind me a lot of the status quo in the original Garo series of a character is, tainted by the big villain, big bad characters, and as a result, they naturally attract problems, which then creates like a very easy way to do a Monster of the Week series because this person will now always be attacked, and so like the plot always is just, hey, this bad guy is doing bad things, but also they're going to attack this main character because of course they gotta. Okay. So I assume the barrier tape is literally barrier tape as opposed to just a please don't come here, right? It's gotta be. Okay, so she did cast it without using the poem, which also means of course it was basically nothing. Okay, head sliding off, or I guess just faces sliding off. Was that a decoy face perhaps? Oh no! Oh no! Oh, that is real gnarly. And I legitimately cannot tell, like, is this the real face, or did the face actually slide off? Are we just looking at a subsection of this dragon's head? Oh no, there's no ooh. That said, what is this gonna look like? It's not that cool, but I really, really love Oshishi's design in the one shot. Like, that design sold me so hard on the entire series. So this isn't quite there, but it looks cool in its own way. I do think like the very flat, sliced face is like that's a cool aesthetic in its own way. Also, she is saying looks like it went lights out. Like, I guess it was a normal dragon that turned into a dark dragon. Oh, that's really cool. I also do appreciate how mechanical everything is. Like, it is such a hard contrast to Soul Society. I mean, to be fair, oh my god, there's a reverse London BBC. Really? I wonder if they have problems with taking money from front BBC and then people going, I don't want to pay the reverse London BBC tax. God. I mean, that said, I mean, that's really good if the BBC is in, like, not just in London, but also in fantasy versions of London as well. Also, to be fair, I don't remember if they discussed this in the one shot, but we don't know what Reverse London really is. Like, we do know it is like secluded from normal London. We do know, like, that's where they keep all the dragons and stuff. We don't know if it is at all connected to the afterlife. Like, you would assume so because it is the Soul Society West branch, but it might not be. Like, because of the nature of Soul Society, some of which, of course, we know from the manga, some of which, of course, is in the light novels. Like, due to that, it isn't necessarily just the afterlife or just a place where dead people go. It's very possible the entire West Branch of Soul Society is just a place that people walk into and they're always just alive. Oh, Nini's sex face is extremely strong. Oh, she's so garbage. Like, in the one shot, I was like, I don't remember her being this bad. Like, in the one shot, it was more of the Sabers just aren't here, so, like, they have to do this. Like, they have to fight a Dark Dragon, but they shouldn't. Like, that isn't their job. Whereas here, this isn't any outright going, yeah, let's just not listen to this. We're gonna go fight this Dark Dragon. We're gonna get those Chivos. Also, I mean, especially because this is a short series, I would not be surprised if we ended with Nini going into Sabers and Noelle not. Like, in any other series, I would assume that's absolutely not a possibility. Like, the series has to be about Noelle deciding that she's going to end up in Sabers. But they could just split up by the end of the series. Dragons. Absorb negative... Okay, yeah, so we are going over this again. Are you ready for the strongest group/organization name Kubo ever made? Oh boy. I don't think I'm ready. I mean, I'm excited, but I can't say with all honesty that I'm ready. So, I guess that Norami Dragon was, like, on the path to becoming a Dark Dragon. Like, we couldn't physically see the darkness or anything. But, like, the fact that it was intent on harming Balgo at all means that it had to be on the path. Actually, no. Because, yeah, except during times of hunger. So I guess it could also be that this dragon was just hungry. But then why was it in that situation? Why was it just wandering about? Like, there's gotta be something more there. And I mean, we know this isn't necessarily true, because they did revert Oshishi. But then again, like, that is, very exceptional. Oh, she's gonna use the pipe. I do really like the aesthetic of the, like, super futuristic looking blaster/wand, and then you flip it around and it's a pipe. That's so cool. Is this Black Coffin? No. Black Coffin's 99, right? Wingbind, supreme powers that be, top of horns. Oh boy, okay, homie. If this isn't the strong organization name, then I'm even more scared, but this is pretty strong. Oh boy. I don't know if I'm mentally parsing this as, I mean, Supreme Powers That Be is definitely the name of the group, but I don't know if Top of Horns is literally also the name of the organization, or if this is stating that there is an organization we don't know about called Horns, and they are also Top of Horns. Now, we have to have a big shot with all these character designs, right? I mean, this isn't a one-shot, so I guess it is possible that we'll hold off on them for a little bit, but if Burn the Witch is missing anything that is in the normal Kubo stable, it has to be the, the loads and loads of characters. Oh boy, okay, never mind. I should have really stopped right there. Oh yeah, this is peak Kubo. Okay, so, I mean, first of all, seems like catastrophe, so they're clearly looking at Balgo. But it's been a whole century, or 96 years, since the last one. I assume that is just someone who contacted a dragon and is, full of dragon energy, but isn't dead, maybe? Oh, and the fonts, that's so cool. Okay, so, Bruno Bang... Oh boy, first of all, these are some real Bleach names. So, Bruno Bang Knife. Oh, Bang Knife! So he's part of the Magic Circle Corps, Inks. So of course his name is written out in ink. Then Roy B. Dipper is part of the Incantation Corps, Anthems. Anthems as in music, hence the musical notation. Okay. Liturgy Corps, Sacreds. Oh no, how... I feel like if I say this, I'm gonna be booted off of YouTube. Oh no, how do I pronounce this? C-Q-U-N-T-N-I-R-E... Kuntnire? Is that it? Is it Kuntenayer? I'm so scared. I don't want the channel to be taken down. But okay, so Also, what is the difference between the Magic Circle core and the Incantation core? Like, clearly, Incantation core has to be Keto, but then, what are Magic Circles? Then we have the Minstrel core, the Pipers. Okay, sure. Trombone Takianen. Oh, he looks so, like, Western European. He looks like he's from a completely different series than everyone else. The trombones for the teases, those are so wild. Like, with everyone else, it's more of a, like, she's got sort of a liturgical, like, almost churchy-ish font. Then he's got the music, he's got the ink. So, it's kind of lazy, but whatever, it's cool. Also, it just hit me that, of course, these had to have been written by Kubo like this, right? And then this would have been the translation in Japanese. Because, of course, this is London. Oh, no! Now, I'm very concerned about the sabers. Now that they have the literal SS logo on them. That is... I think the sabers are the bad guys. There is no way that Kubo did that accidentally. He's not that insane. Incidentally, I did learn recently, if any of you are Power Ranger stans, that if you remember seasons 1 to 3, the original Mighty Morphin? So, Skull from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers has, the beanie that he always wears with the big question mark on it. It turns out that on the original props, they put a sticky, like just a question mark sticky, on top of what was actually there on the beanie, which was an SS logo. Because they got a bunch of beanies from this, like, super nationalist, like, Nazi punk bands, and they decided, well, we gotta use this because we don't have a budget. But they didn't want to show off the SS logo, so they did put the smiley faces on, or not, the question mark on it. To give off a sense of, he's so dopey, he doesn't know what he's doing, question mark. And all of that is to say, I don't believe there is a force on Earth that would do this without knowing about it. So yeah. And I mean, I think it also fits with No Man Trombone Takianen being like he's got a very wholesome sort of look to him. Whereas Sullivan Squire, I imagine, like, the SS logo really makes it clear, like, the Sabers aren't the good guys. Then we have Development Core, Patchworks, Sakarin, who is just straight up not here. Fine. That's actually very bold for Kubo to just not show this design, like, to not even have this person in shadow, but just straight up like, yeah, they're not even here. Which I think is also good characterization. Like, clearly this is someone who loves developing stuff and wouldn't show up to something like this, because, they'd much prefer just developing stuff. And then, of course, the font here is, like, very patchwork, very, like, bolted together. Oh, no, you're right! Ninny's the only one who wants to join the SS. Also, her name is literally SS, now that I think about it. I mean, obviously, because that's where the logo comes in, but... yeah, there's no way! The Accounting Corps, Billionaires, Harry Shake. Boy. I assume that's supposed to be money, then? Like, or, coins? He's also the only one wearing... actually, no. Yeah, so the plaid has to be a Piper's thing specifically. Whereas, yeah, so I imagine this other thing is going to be for the billionaires, when we ever get to see them. God, it's been a while since I've had this feeling towards a new group of characters. Like, it is so fundamentally Kubo for them to be this, like, big, weird organization with a bunch of different, diverse, like, character designs and feelings, and, like, they all clearly have some level of history, but they're not making it super obvious. I mean, to be fair, like, when Kubo did the Burn the Witch one-shot, like, that came out in Japan as its own tankobon. Like, it was not a, I'm doing this and then we're gonna have a full series. It did seem to be a straight-up just, I'm doing a one-shot and hopefully that gets a new series. So I would not be surprised if Kubo also did all of this and it is just a limited series and it doesn't go anywhere. Like, he strikes me as the kind of person who just can't stop. Like, if he's going to do something, he's gonna go all in. Personnel Affairs Divine. Oh, okay, no, that's all one thing. That is all... Personnel Affairs Divine Punishment Corps, Gallows. That's a pretty strong, group title. Wolfgang Slashouts. That also, I mean, because of the way Kubo writes names, it also means I can't look at a name and say, like, this person is definitely this nationality, or this person has to have something weird going on. Like, I was about to say, Balgo Ewain Parks is a real weird name. but at the same time, that is on the same page as Wolfgang slash Hout. So I don't think we can take anything directly from that. I also like if they're going to do the like I'm just gonna paste a image on the background. I'm just gonna put this on the bottom layer. Like I'm glad that multiple cores do this, but it's not every core. Like it is some of them do it, some of them don't. I think yeah, like having 3 of them do it is fine by me. Okay, so they're gonna kill Balgo. Old guy does have a familiar sort of energy to him. And I do think like uh, I wouldn't go as far as to say that they're supposed to be like at all like the Gote 13, but or like in terms of like person to person. Clearly, I do think they are meant to be the Western Gote 13 in their own way. I don't know if I would say he's Ewok. Like, I could see it a little bit, but not quite. There's something there to him, but I feel like Ewok had. I don't know what I would say specifically to disagree with it. But he's got a different old guy look than Ewok, or I can't remember his name, Yamamoto. But he does still look familiar in some way. The glasses remind me a little of Old Man Zangetsu. I would not be surprised if Burn the Witch ends up getting transfer students, or uh, I could see like also a personnel shift or something like that. I also know that the Bleach Gotcha game, which I refuse to play because I'm already playing Magia Record. I can't play a second Gotcha game. I don't trust myself. But I know there's a lot of really cool designs and stuff in there that are drawing from light novels and also other stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if they end up doing a big cross promotion where like the Burn the Witch characters end up in the Gotcha, and then like new characters from the light novels and stuff end up here. I could see it. I could also, I mean, if the Sabers are real racist, they're going to be completely down with Ichigo Sword. They're going to look at that and go, "Oh yeah, you deserve to be here." But overall, fantastic first chapter. I mean, it's a bit of a cheat to say it's the first chapter though. Like the one shot is canon to it. So it really is more like the second chapter but with the length of a first chapter. Which I really appreciate. Like it had so much time to breathe. I'm kind of concerned for what the rest of the series is going to be because what I like about Bleach is, part of it is genuinely the pacing. I know a lot of people hate the pacing, but I do think like the speed and the way that things are able to breathe, like it's all really unique and really fun. And I don't know if Kubo can do that without having long chapters like this. Like this chapter, fantastic. One shot, fantastic. If he has to go down to 17-page chapters, I don't know if he can do it very well. I mean, unless the arc of this is literally just going to be like maybe another Monster of the Week thing, but it's mostly going to be like an wing binds fights sort of. Like if it's just the various organizations all kind of doing a big inward fight, which also would feel very Soul Society now that I think about it. But yeah, like if it's not super focused, I don't know if I trust Kubo to be able to pull this off. I'd say monthly or even bi-weekly. Like I think a big part of it is also I want him to be able to have like big page, or like a big 2-page spread with one thing drawn on it, but I also don't want him to do that in lieu of actual content. So I do think like having more time to work on stuff and throw stuff out and just play around with it, and also having more pages. I think that is really it. So I mean, a big part of this is also that Burn the Witch, I assume he's not doing this weekly. Like, I assume it's not that he said, "Hey, I want to do Burn the Witch," and then 1 week ago he said, "Oh boy, I gotta write that chapter." I assume that he has, like, if he hasn't, like, completely finished the whole series before release, I'm assuming at the very least, like, he's got a lot of things sketched out, he knows what he wants to do, which I think might also help. Like, if he's able to pace everything out in his mind before he puts pen to paper. Because, yeah, you know what? I'm feeling a lot better about this. I was kind of scared, but I'm going to have faith in Kubo. I like him a lot. I think he's a good storyteller. I'm going to hope that he makes Burn the Witch really, really good. Alright, so that is Chapter 1 of Burn the Witch. Witches blow a new pipe. Now, where does this go? I mean, yeah, also, like, he was almost dying as he was drawing near the end of Bleach. Like, It was destroying him. So yeah, I'm really hoping it's all made. Or if it's not, that at the very least, like, it just needs to be polished. Plus, like, he's got money, so I imagine he's also, like, he's got assistance. There's no way he's, like, killing himself to make Burn the Witch. I mean, now that I think about it, there's also the anime coming out, like, they have to have already told him, like, hey, this has to be a success. Plus, now that I think about it, if they're already working on the anime, they have, like, he has to have at least scripted out everything. And then he can't diverge too far from that, otherwise it would, be really bad cross-branding. So, yeah. I think that's gotta go at the very top right now. Definitely better than Black Clover. It's gonna be hard to dethrone this one. Now, I'm pretty sure I've talked for like half an hour, so I'm not going to ramble on. Let's move on. I've got... Oh no, I forgot to even say Burn the Witch in chats. Darn it. But we're moving on to the series everyone loves, of course. Me and Roboco, Chapter 6. I mean, with this world, I cannot tell if this is meant to be a literal small lion, or if it's someone in a lion costume, or if this is just a toy. Homie, I don't have anything to explain. I don't know what you mean. Oh boy. What is she saying down here? Okay, Chapter 6, Nyonta and Roboco. Now, I am a famous lover of cats, but I don't know if this is a cat, so I will reserve my feelings. I mean, it is a cute design. I can't believe I didn't think about that. That is just Con. Also, I'm really waiting for the hard swerve into serious for me and Roboco, but I don't think it's going to be a permanent real swerve into seriousness. I am because they have been hammering in, like, tiny bits of darkness. I assume the joke in one chapter is going to be, hey, Roboco has a very serious battle manga past, and then we will glaze over it and go back to pure comedy. Oh yeah, okay. So I guess we're not just goofing around with that. That is just a bipedal lion. Also, what is happening between its legs? What is happening between its legs? I don't know what that's meant to be. It's so puffy. That could be either sets of genitals, or it could be no genitals at all, but I mean, it feels very genital-esque. Sorry, it's hard to break habits from the war. Okay, this is a good gag. This is a very bad way to train a cat. Now, he is saying him, but at the same time, I do not trust a child to tell me the sex of this cat. We are really hammering in Roboco's past. Oh boy, what is this knife? Mom's joke has gone from, I guess she just always has a knife around, to, I don't know what I would say the joke is here. I guess it is just that it's a weird exotic knife. Oh, it's a cat speech bubble. Oh no, it's gangster cats. Now, are these actually very wholesome gangsters, or are they... Also, no, what is happening between their crotches? What is happening? I can't ignore this. What is happening with these cat crotches? Are they teats, maybe? Oh, there's 3 different options now. Oh no, please don't laser these cats. Oh, it's fine. She's a masochist. She loves it. Gotcha, girl. I turned my recorder into solid gold. I don't want to record... I don't want to reward the random comedy that is just constantly in me and Roboco, but at the same time, I can't help it. It's very good at being funny random comedy. I might move it to the pre-records, especially since now that, there's like 2 things in it. Because I don't think anyone's like super duper into me and Roboco in chat, but I'm probably still going to keep going with it. It is just a dash of joy in my life every week now. It has taken over the We Never Learn slot, I'd say, in terms of sheer happiness. Now, where does this go? Now, I mean, despite being very cat-heavy, it was not my favorite chapter. I do think a part of that is that this mangaka is not very good at drawing cats. Like, they're fine. They're very workmanlike cats, I'd say. Like, they have the general appeal of cats, but there's not a whole lot else there. Yeah, I mean, me and Roboco is not a series that holds back on the references. And to be fair, like I'm assuming that like the song is a reference, the knife was a reference, almost certainly. But because there are things that kind of just passed over my head, it also felt like a very reference low chapter. I mean, especially since Burn the Witch is now running, they've gotta name drop Cone at some point. Maybe it is a like slow burn or something. I know that doesn't really fit this series overall, but maybe, just maybe. Gonna slap this in between Black Clover and We Never Learn. I should probably post the rankings real quick so people know what I'm talking about. I keep on forgetting, of course, that you can't just see this. Big apologies if, don't do it for an extended period of time, but hopefully it's, not too complicated. Now, that is me and Roboco. Next, we have Time Paradox Ghostwriter, Chapter 13, Writer. I'm trying really hard to enunciate writer now. Like, especially at the start, I was definitely just saying writer. Oh boy, homie. Yeah, sometimes it's correct. But okay, so time has stopped. Yes, it's definitely stopped, but what is he going to do with the stopped time? My theory last time, yeah, I definitely don't remember what the actual theory was, but as of right now, I guess I am thinking it's that he is going to create a manga that makes Aino calm down. Like if there's no other way, like if it's not just, beating her or taking her away or making her incapable of writing manga, I think the wholesome nature of this has to be, and also that would be a good a good counter to this idea of making a manga that but then removing all of your ego from it, so it is a perfect manga that everyone can enjoy. I think the ultimate reversal of that would then be a manga that only one person can enjoy. Like if he creates a manga that I don't want him to tank the series, but if he at least writes something that causes Aino to snap out of where she is right now, but I don't know what that could be. That's my guess. And yeah, all the stuff suspended midair. In other words, you want to live in that time frozen world so that only you have free motion, and you want to use that situation to draw a manga greater than Itsuki Aino's. Huh. I mean, this is such a cool concept. I'm really scared the time paradox is going to end very soon. And if it does, like, it is a series that's clearly designed to, to do one thing. Like, there is one story that needs to be told. It isn't meant to be a series that goes on forever. But at the same time, I really hope it's not like a lackluster ending. Also, I am very concerned with how this is going to be portrayed. Because like it is the problem I've been bringing up since chapter 1, so I do apologize if you're getting sick of me saying this, but it's hard to express the concept of a manga that is better than the manga you are as a reader reading, in much the same way that it's very hard to write a genius detective character who is smarter than you are as a person. How do we then create something like, even if we know there's infinite time, like we know the mangaka who wrote Time Paradox Ghostwriter doesn't have infinite time, so is it going to be is it going to just be a off screen, oh this is the best thing ever? Okay, so his watch still moves. Yeah, because he's always touching it, I guess. This also feels very like how do I put it, like I've seen a lot of series that do a time stop thing, like just temporarily, like just as a, hey, here's a cool idea, wouldn't it be cool if you could stop time or whatever. I'm hoping this is more of a philosophical question of like does it make sense, or like given infinite time, could you realistically do this? I mean, it seems like right now the answer is no. And okay, so he's gone past, like, definitely, let's see, 90, that's 4 digits, right? No, it's 3. So like, yeah, 90, 120, I assume, 240, 270, 300. So he's coming up on a year, and he still has not done anything that he would truly want to do, which I do think is really cool. Okay, White Knight Storyboards complete a chapter 194. But yeah, how do you get outside input when the world is stopped and only... Is he going to, like, just go to other countries and stuff, maybe? Like, I'm imagining a scene where he's, like, walking across the water. Okay, no, so he's just reading all manga. So we are going with the idea of I mean, to be fair, knowing how the series works, it's 100% possible that he's going to resume time and have the perfect White Knight, and then Aino's still going to die. Hot damn. Also, 2,411 is uh, divided by 365. So 6.6 years of straight just working on manga. I think this is also cool in the sense of this is still less time than Aino spent on it in the original timeline. But he is getting close to putting in the amount of effort she did. Like, it is less cheaty because of that. So he's still going. I believe she said, yeah, because it was his one shot published in Jump that caused her to start, moving towards like publishing her own series. And that was, I believe in the original timeline, like the timeline before the series. She spent 10 years working on it, which is why, in Jump 10 years in the future, White Knight was just starting. So he is still spending less time. Like 6.6 years is still less than 10 years. Okay, now he's at 3,175 days in. The 5th White Knight is complete. Jeez. 12,472 days in. 18th original long-form series completes. Good point. I mean, I was thinking of it as a, like, Aino locked herself in a room and presumably only worked on manga. But you're right. Like, she would still be sleeping. She would still be eating. And this is so insane. Like, the sheer expansion of it. Plus this idea. Like, the idea that he needs to draw something that outdoes White Knight. So he has gone from writing the Ultimate White Knights to just trying a bunch of new, completely different series. Also, 12,472 is 34 years. Ah, yeah, he could have a whole magazine that is just his contents. But yeah, so it's also interesting that the watch lasted that long. Oh no. Looking back on it, measuring time was a big source of mental support for me, but now I don't need it anymore. So now we're going, like, Mirai was right. This is the point, I believe, when he is truly going to break. For all this time, I had nothing unique to offer, nothing I could say to the readers. But now it's different. I finally remembered, and that's why I draw. Not to force Aino to give up on her dream. There's something very important I need to tell you through manga. Okay. So what could he possibly be trying? Like, I do think this must be the final breakthrough. This must be him finally, like, instead of making something that is just good enough to beat White Knight, I think now he's finally happened upon, like, I think when he's saying, very important I need to tell you, I think he is talking mentally to Aino. I think this is going to be a manga directed directly at Aino. Oh, and his eyes did light up again. Oh, and he did fix it. I was going to say, like, it is real weird that he's spent, like, back when it was, like, just 6 years, I was like, wow, it's real dickish that he didn't fix this at all. But, okay. And I think that is also a good encapsulation of what he's trying to do. Like, he is fixing things. Like, he is putting some good in the world. Oh my god, and that's the end of the chapter. Oh, next chapter feels like it could be the end. I mean, I'm fine with it taking as long as it wants, or alternatively, ending whenever it wants. Like, I'm worried, but at the same time, like, this is such a good chapter. And it's so good and different in such a different way. Also, oh my god, we had the chapter that was titled Time Paradox Ghostwriter, and this is just Writer. Like, this is his journey from being the Time Paradox Ghostwriter, being literally, like, we got the Time Paradox, he is ghostwriting White Knights, and he transitioned over into writing original series and eventually just writing. Like, not because of the Time Paradox, not because he wanted to do anything with Aino. This is something, or not because he specifically had a, like, I need to beat Aino or I need to save Aino. This is actual manga from him, even if it took 30 years of his life. Which also, like, boy. I'm so interested in this concept now. Like, I really want to see how he is as a human being after this. Like, just being a mangaka with 30 years of experience, but it's only experience with yourself. You haven't had an editor. Like, what does that turn you into? What kind of manga would he genuinely create? It's so unbelievably sci-fi in a way that the series hasn't really touched on until now. Random, no. Random, stop. Oh, that would be... See, I don't know. That feels a little too cute for me, but I do like the idea of it eventually being, oh, he spent 30 years writing manga and now he's insane and now Hino has to, save him. I mean, alternatively, it could also be that the reason she is saved is not because his manga is good, but it's because his manga is completely bonkers and she's worried for him. Fantastic chapter. Let's put it above Black Clover, below Burn the Witch. Number 2 as of right now. No predictions on what he wrote. I don't think I can predict it. I think it has to be something extremely impactful, and I think we will have this big buildup of, this is what I finally came to. Like, this is my result. This is the thing I finally decided on after 30 years. So I don't think it's going to be something that's super easy to predict. With that, let's move on to Undead Unluck, number 28, Crimson Bullets. That didn't quite work out. Very basic cover page. I mean, this also might not be a cover page. This might just be a moment in the series that is happening right now. God, so much character in this shot. Like, just their three faces side by side is so perfect. Oh, I forgot about Tatiana down there. God, Blade Runner is such a cool ability. And yeah, like, the blade is cracking, so it is 100% a actual physical blade. I know a lot of people were, like, saying, is this a real blade, or is it just an energy attack that looks physical? It's gotta be physical. It has to be actually shooting blades out. Or I guess generating blades, because they're so much bigger than the legs themselves. Like, I'm not saying they're stored in there. Ah, they've come so far. I mean, I know it's been 28 chapters, but it's also been only 28 chapters. And they're fine. Like, they're already at the point where they can do tactical kisses and stuff that just work in their own way. Okay. I mean, I guess they can assume it's a meteorite, because what else would happen right here, like in the middle of the ocean? There's not a whole lot else that could reasonably happen. Like, also because I assume she is continuously kissing him, to charge up the amount of bad. Okay, so he could freeze the meteorite, I guess. But then also, if he stops looking at them, then, like, they'll fall down again. Yeah, how could he... I don't actually understand how that would work. You do bring up a good point. Like a kraken, or a sudden underwater volcano, or like a big seismic incident that destroys an entire country and also blasts a bunch of water at them. Like, it's all possible. Also, I didn't think about it until right now, but yeah, I assume then the Blade Runner must, like his ability must transfer onto Blade Runner. Like, these must be cuts that Andy can't heal from. Ah, Pep. Yeah, I do feel like that's probably where we're going. Oh, and I do love that it is, like, the chibi trio now. Like, it's just the young, cute people. Like, Andy has now removed himself from the plan. It's all up to the three of them to actually do something. Okay, so it did curve it. So what was the point of that? The meteorite sent Andy bouncing across the ocean surface and flying into the sky, sending him approximately 100 meters away from Rip's current location. Okay. Oh, and that would be the Crimson Bullet then. Like, he's going to try and snipe her. Oh, so that's also why it's the Crimson Bullet. Like, it's because he is pumping all the blood in his body into it. Like, it is the, like, once he does this, he's done. Unattract would make sense, because it would also play into the, like, comedic romance thing that she has going on with Rip. The more you desire to live, the more I negate you and your story life. I mean, I assume that's not a literal thing. I think it is more metaphorical. But at the same time, like, it does make sense with Unheal. Or, not, Unrepair, sorry. He looks like a completely different character now. Like, with his hair up. I wanted to make sure Mr. Andy could use your body as a shield. Oh, that's so cool! Like, the spiraling blood is really, like, it must be, I think it is this mangaka's best trick. It always looks so good. And I do appreciate that we don't see it constantly. Oh, that's so good. Because, yeah, like, of course he would assume there's no way Andy would shoot through me and potentially kill his friends. There wasn't a single person present acting in the interest of their own lives. I mean, to be fair, he does, like, he negates other people's repairs, but he doesn't necessarily negate his own body from being repaired. If someone wanted to heal him, they could. I mean, to be fair, that is a blast right through the hearts. And it would be very bad. Like, from all the information we have right now, there's no good reason to keep him alive. He seems like the worst possible person. So I assume they're going to maybe they'll give Lotla away, like, some level of protection. Like, maybe they'll take her along or something. But I imagine she would also hate them, because, you know, they're at the very least friends, if not something more. Also, big props, of course, to Fuko. You know, if not for her, I imagine, at the very least, our boy would have no weenie. At most, he would be dead. I could see that. I mean, I think because I've been more into JoJo's as of late, I do think more of the big JoJo donutings, but yeah, I could see Tsukushima. I mean, Bleach also has, canonically, just, you know, the ability to lose all of your organs and it's fine. Even if it is explicitly, you know, scientifically, all of your organs have been poisoned and destroyed, don't worry, it's fine. We can just fix them. And Undead Unluck has not been the kind of series to pull punches when it comes to dead characters. Like, it is a series that is completely fine with letting people die. So I do think he is dead. Especially because, like, they need him to be dead in order to fix Andy. So I'm gonna say he's dead. That is Undead Unluck. Oh boy, I'm not unbelievably sweaty, but I'm definitely a bit. Oh yeah, also Fuko needs to not die. Important. I mean, they could also do a thing of, oh, because you've beaten me, I will, you know, cancel my negation. But that's not at all his character. There's no way. Absolutely not. So Undead Unluck is, I mean, good chapter. Really loved the Crimson Bullets. I can't say it was as good as Time Paradox Ghostwriter. I will put it slightly under there. Like, in terms of just, like, really dope conceptual things, that did tickle my fancy a little bit more. So yeah, I mean, Time Paradox gets 1. It's almost always beaten by Undead Unluck, so I think it's fine. It makes sense. Next, of course, let me grab the phone first so I don't have a massive pause. Next, we have Chainsaw Man, Chapter 81. Ah, yeah, perfect. So, last time... Also, first of all, Pep, thank you very much for telling me that. That is super dope, Undead Unluck stuff. But secondarily, last chapter was such a... not emotional roller coaster, just an emotional problem? It bothered me so much. Like, its existence made my heart hurt so much. It is on its face one of the happiest visual chapters with all the doggies and everything, and, you know, no one's being killed. But emotionally, and in terms of, you know, things happening to Denji, it is so destructive. So I'm hoping we calm down a little bit in this one, but I mean, like, obviously not. Obviously, this is Denji essentially signing himself into servitude to Makima. But I'm hoping that we have, like, at least a bit of an arc where it's, you know, he and Power are essentially just, you know, under Makima's thumb, but they're still doing okay. Like, they're still getting to a place where they're a bit better. Like, I just want things to go kind of back to normal for a little bit. I don't want to think for myself anymore. I mean, yeah, I get it. I've definitely been there. I used to only have to think about what I had to do not to die. Now it's like there are 10,000 different things I gotta consider, and it's legit, I mean, really exhausting. Interesting code switch there. Like, that's not like, he's not going super formal or anything, but he is, like, clearly trying to be a little less crass with Makima. Oh, that's really rough. Like, maybe Aki only had to die because I'm stupid. Because I think that's so crushing too, because it's not oh, I did this and then I realized there's a better way. It is specifically Denji going, like, he doesn't have the brain power to come up with a different way. And I personally, from what I understand as a viewer of the series, like, I don't think there's a better way. I do think, given the rules we have, he had to kill Aki. Like, it was awful, but he had to. In the same way, like, I think it's so tragic that using all of his brain power, Denji finally came up with just the concept of, maybe he didn't have to die, but I'm too dumb to have saved him. It's so painful. I really love the phrasing he's going through too, because it is very like teenager. I mean, sorry, Denji is a teenager. I don't remember if Aki was a teenager. I think he was. Yeah, because the Gun Devil attack when he was very young and his brother was also super young. That wasn't too long ago. But yeah, it kills me because I can imagine myself and also like very good friends I've had over the years all saying exactly this. Like I can't understate how much I love Denji's openness when it comes to his emotions. Like I wouldn't say that he's emotionally vulnerable or anything, or that he's emotionally intelligent, but he's willing at the very least to say things. He's willing at the very least to consider that maybe he doesn't understand everything. You sure? My dogs have to obey me with complete obedience. By the way, I was talking with, I believe, Zaku, and I mean maybe it was someone else in chat, so I do apologize if I'm misattributing it. Someone did point out that the dogs that Makima have do seem to vaguely correlate to the people that she had chained together when she had summoned the big combo move to take out the Gun Devil, which is worrying in its own right. But I don't think that Denji's going to literally be a dog. I think this is like he's finally not snapped, but he's finally given up. I think I don't think she's going to do the say that you'll give all of you to me. Like I don't think she's going to do a real contract like that. But I do think it is going to be, essentially that. Also, interesting that as she says paw, one dog also attempts to give its paw to her, and also there's a dog behind Denji also trying to give its paw to Denji. Thumbs Up Denji is good, but I'll never be able to use this as a reaction image. Like, because of the context of it, it is going to crush my soul. I mean, this also hurts me a lot because I would say I'm a pretty I'm a furry. I like furry stuff. I also like pet play. Those are two things that are extremely, like, they get me real big. And this is dark side pet play. This is the evil pet play. Like, this is not allowing someone to let go in a safe and controlled environment, or, temporarily giving up control to someone that has your best interests in mind. This is essentially becoming someone's slave. Like, I can understand how good this can be and how intoxicating it can be, while at the same time, even though I want good things for Denji, I know this is it's only a good thing in the most general sense, in the most basic sense. It is ultimately extremely bad. And I do think this chapter does a very good job of having this deep underlying menace without having to do, like, evil Makima face as she turns away so he can't see it. Like, the menace and the fear and the pain of it is so apparent without having it to make it obvious. Okay. She called Power over, but why? I mean, I get why Power would come over, because A, Makima's their boss, B, Denji didn't come home, so I imagine it's... I mean, first of all, we didn't see her walk away, right? I guess it must have actually been when she got the tea for Denji. You opened the door because I'm going to kill her. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Uh-huh. Also, that is a real painting. I don't know exactly what it's called, but that is a very famous painting. And it does have, the very obvious symbolism of, falling from grace. Oh no. Please, dear Fujimoto, no. Satan's descent from heaven. I mean, it's very possible this is a fake out, but there's no way, especially with, what Future Devil told yeah. Fujimoto, you're not allowed to do this! This is not okay! This is some real, like... Fujimoto really has taken the place of Kubo in Jump, in terms of, like, the way he is willing to pace a chapter. No one else is willing to do something like this. Like, this feels like the longest hallway in the world. And it's so cruel that Denji, like, he has given up he hasn't literally given up the ability to think, but he has stated it. And now he has to reckon with it. Like, he isn't even allowed the oblivion of being mind controlled. I've talked a lot in different reactions about mind control and how, like, there are different levels of mind influence, mind control, and like how okay, how bad that is. But this is the most cruel because it is not mind control. It is like, being very like, being pushed to the brink of oblivion and then doing something truly awful. Oh my god, that page is so good. I assume this has to be then Pochita slash Chainsaw Devil slash like whatever this eyeball is. I think everyone on the planet assumes this is either Pochita or a more primal version of the Chainsaw Devil, but it could be something else. But like her talking over it, and of course calling back to the door that Aki was on the other side of, in which the same thing said, "Don't open it." It is the most cruel. And this is, I believe, like now that Aki is out of the picture, Future Devil did say that like Denji and Power and Aki, like he did say specifically the chainsaw would kill you and Power. So I don't think it's going to be Makima literally like shooting Power in the head. When he opened the door, Power will be there smiling. She'll pull a party popper and she'll be holding a okay. So he did call it. Like, he did completely call that she would be holding a cake, but why would he have that information? See, this really, really parallels right before Aki got the big chain into him. Like, when he was thinking about having a crush on Makima, and then he had the question, wait, why do I have a crush on Makima? And, like, even the birthday thing, like, maybe that's possible, or maybe she told him that? Jesus Christ. Why? Yeah, that's one way to put it. Jesus Christ, why? Also, I did say shoot her in the head, but that didn't quite work out. Yeah, I can see the Shishigami there. She has done this before too, like specifically when she was on the train. Like there are the big holes in people that we never fully explained. Though to be fair, this is so much bigger. And this is specifically, now I don't know if you like was Future lying to Aki, or did Aki change the future enough by becoming the Chainsaw Fiend that Denji didn't have to do this himself? There's something there. But, it's too cruel. It's just too cruel. Like, even this, like, the fact that she doesn't have a look of fear upon her face, or like she's not screaming or anything. She's just peaceful. She's not even confused. Oh no. I'm gonna be honest. I legitimately did not think that this was a possibility. And even last chapter, I think I was talking about how like maybe maybe the future that Future had envisioned had changed enough to which Power wasn't going to die. And it's not that I love Power as a character. Like, I like her a lot, but it's not that I find her like the best. It's just there's been too much darkness already. Like, there's been too much suffering. Like, I thought that maybe this would be okay, but it's not. Also, like, that's a big hole, but it was definitely implied that she owns like 3 floors of this place, so she can just close the door and it'll be fine. I'm so curious to see how Denji takes this. Like, clearly, this is traumatizing right now. But, like, is this going to break him in the way that Makima wants it to? I think it's pretty clear that she wants this to, like, he's already said that he will, he won't think, he'll do whatever she says. And now she has killed maybe the only person in the world at this point that he actually cares about. and she did it so calmly with a smile on her face. I think this is meant to be a mind-breaking situation, like not in a magical way, but in a very real, like actual manipulator sense. Like I think she is trying to make Denji go like, "Oh, there's no way this can be real," or I'm so dumb that I couldn't save Aki. Therefore, I must be so dumb that I can't understand why this was a good thing. I could see it, especially since like they did like take all the divisions that existed prior to the Gun Devil arc, and they did condense everyone even more. So it is very possible that Denji's going to join that super condensed group now. Either that or I mean, we could have an entire Dark Denji arc that is just Denji being the bad guy working under Makima without being directly controlled. And I think that would be an interesting way to progress the plot for a bit. I'm gonna have to remember to keep in some of these pauses when I do the editing, because usually I just kind of blanket, I do a blanket sort of just like remove all the big pauses, but there's a big part of that where I just wasn't saying anything, but I was also kind of just freaking out because I don't have the brains in order to say things about some of this. Jeez. Let's see this. Oh, boy. Yeah, that's accurate. That makes sense. I mean, oh, jeez. This chapter also, despite being, like, fairly decompressed, it is a 19-page chapter, and yet it somehow manages to feel like 50 pages. And I think a big part of that is the hallway. And, like, just the ability of Fujimoto to just hang on it, while at the same time, like, packing, especially this page. Like, this is the most that Denji really ever says in this chapter. And then me hard cut with, Denji giving up on speech. Like, I think these 2 pages in particular really condense Denji as a human being. Like, it makes the rest of the chapter make so much sense, because, yeah, like, I get it. It has completely sold me on Denji being broken. And even then, like, it's not the cartoony mind break that a lot of anime does, where, like, okay, I guess they're just gone now. They're just no longer a person. Like, we can see Denji's thought process. We know he's freaking out. We know he isn't actually completely numb, but at the same time, he can't process what's going on, and he did just make a promise. It's so beautiful. It's so awful, but also beautiful at the same time. It's God, Fujimoto. And I mean, yeah, this is definitely the end of it's the end of Makima pretending at all that she is not evil to Denji, or that she is not herself to Denji. I think after this point, we're going to see what Makima is really like. And I don't think it is going to be an evil, big bad evil girl, big cackle all the time. I think it is legitimately a... My genuine prediction is definitely the, Denji doing bad stuff for Makima arc. Because I think, like, at this point, I don't understand what we could do that would feel like more of an escalation, or that would feel more important. So I think we could just do Makima tries to rule the world now. And that has its own problems that will, like, have Denji fight other things. And then maybe he'll end up switching back, maybe he won't, we'll see. Well, that is Chainsaw Man. I think I honestly have to put it above Burn the Witch. Like, the Burn the Witch was really good, but it wasn't quite this good. And Chainsaw Man is incredible for how, like, sometimes it'll have, like, chapter after chapter of just extremely, unbelievably good contents. This is one of those times. I cannot conscionably put this under Burn the Witch. Like, especially because that first chapter was fine, but at the same time, it wasn't unbelievably standout. It wasn't as good as the one-shot. The one-shot, I think, might have been able to beat Chainsaw Man this week, but not that first chapter. So that is Chainsaw Man. We got 2 more things to go. Let's hit up. Dr. Stone, chapter 162, Down the Earth-Stained Path. It's so... I don't know what exactly this is parodying. I'm going to say it's probably Space Battleship Yamato, 1999. Or is it 2199? That's all I can think of with, like, the way this drill looks. Like, it looks like a big old spaceship. Oh yeah, it is weird that of all these characters, the only two who we know the last name, or the only three we know the last names of are Senku, Tsukasa, and Ukiyo. Good colors, I like it. Like, there's always the sort of plasticky look that sometimes bothers me, sometimes doesn't. I think I'm fine with everyone except for Chrome. Chrome feels a little weirdly artificial to me. Oh boy, down the earth steam pasta. Okay, okay. I mean, first of all, this is such a dumb fake out. Why did they do this? Making the Gurren Lagann statement of, yeah, just moving forward, stained by the earth itself. Ooh, it does look really cool. I am curious to see how they're going to, like, power this. Like, it's so tiny for the, the big buggy that they usually drive around. So, like, are they going to make more? Or is it a situation where this small drill is still capable of digging, like, enormous amount of dirt? Like, maybe if you spin it around the way that the spear was spinning around before? Oh, they're sending Taiju! Yeah! And it is nice, like, I I liked Dr. Taiju enough as a concept, but I think it's actually good that they really held back on it. That it wasn't a big ol' let's do a whole lot of like let's not keep this up for too long. Like now we're back to normal Taiju actually still managing to contribute to the force. Okay, so this has to be part of the plan. Like there's no way Taiju would go off book with this. Oh, also good point that they don't understand Japanese. I do love this idea of you're gonna have to follow the car, so why don't you just get into the car? True, it is Taiju. I guess I do have to put that corollary in. It is Taiju. Oh no! I mean, in addition to not knowing how to drive, this is also, a big science car that is not designed by, a major car manufacturer. Like, I have to imagine it doesn't handle the way a modern car does. Normal face Carlos is. That's true. This might be the only time I remember seeing normal face Carlos. He honestly looks fine. Like, I was kind of worried the Boichi would, like, do something real weird with the face, but no, it's actually pretty decent. Okay, so this wasn't part of the plan. This was just Taiju going, oh yeah, I should let them drive with me. And even then, I should let the enemy drive my car to the enemy base. Or not to the enemy base, to the tunnel, but still. Oh my god, I forgot what Taiju is like! I mean, they're not gonna kill him. The Kingdom of Science does not kill, but boy, Carlos knows everything now! Oh, good points. Like, yeah, you need the air circulation. Oh, this is so cool. Like, I guess they might actually win him over with just their sheer tenacity. Either that, or maybe, like, I think we're building to a, oh, you've won me over. But maybe this is actually a, you're just like Dr. Zeno. Which would be cool in its own way. Ah, oh, no. Don't you know who these people are? I would say it's less the spin and more spiral energy. Really good chapter, very gar, very, like, meat and potatoes, Dr. Stone, I'd say. Like, it wasn't super insane, but it was good. It was fine. Let's give it a... Oh, what would I give this? Like, big three, I'd say. Chainsaw Man, Burn the Witch, Time Paradox. It's not up there. I don't think it's Undead Unluck tier either. And Black Clover... I think it's gotta go below Black Clover, above me and Roboco. Like, that Black Clover chapter is still legitimately really, really good. Alright, one more thing, and then author comments, which I forgot to actually make a tab for, so I'm just gonna slide this over there. But before we get there, we have My Hero Academia, chapter 281. Plus Ultra. Oh boy. I mean, oh boy, what could this chapter be? I mean, like, clearly this is, Shigaraki thinking about his dad, thinking about the world. So I guess this might be the chapter where they punch out Shigaraki. Like, not to the end of beating him, but I think this could be, like, the one where they show off what Plus Ultra truly means. Also, I mean, props for props are due. This whole arc is extremely relevant. Like specifically, with the idea of, these people who are appointed as society's guardians, but they do, like, they ignore people they can't protect. They hurt people that are actually close to them. They beat their wives. Like, I do think it is really well timed. And I mean, the fact that it is, like, clearly this was not intentional just shows that My Hero is decently written. Like, this is not. I haven't read anything thus far that feels unbelievably badly timed, like anything where it's like, oh wow, I can't believe this exists. But I think there's a big difference between, like swerving away from saying something really bad and just writing a series in which when you write something bad, you are writing in service of something that is ultimately supposed to be a good point. Or, yeah. I don't want to harp on too much about that, but I do think this is cool. Okay, yeah, the two of you are right. I and to be fair, I didn't give it a chance. It is possible that it's decent, but I did very intentionally choose not to do that. That means your system's all rotten from the inside with maggots crawling out. It all builds up little by little over time. And yeah, like this is something that has gone through the whole series time and time again. The idea that the hero system has made normal people softer and less like willing to react to anything. And then you have, heroes who are corrupt and unjust and very, very flawed in their own rights. And by doing that, they maintain the status quo in which, they don't get called out on the awful things they do. And normal people continue to not try to develop themselves unless they want to fit into this tiny box called being a hero. Yeah, that is a gorgeous Shigaraki. And I said recently on the server that the cover of the current volume of My Hero is the best I've ever seen his hair look. And I would say, like, with shading in his hair here, it's very hit or miss. I usually don't like it very much. I think this looks really cool. It's still not up there with the cover of that volume, which I should probably bring up, actually. Just so, because of course these reactions are somewhat timeless. People might go back and watch them. I hope, fingers crossed, probably not. Now, I don't actually remember where this chapter is, or where the cover is. Whoops, kind of forgot. Probably should have scoped that out ahead of time. But yeah, it's so metal. And I do find I posted the Shonen Jump channel. Okay. Thank you, homie. That's the one channel I think I didn't actually look into. Yeah, there it is. I like it because, like, his hair has this very Fae-like, pure white quality to it. And I think if you add any shading, or, like, any, like, cross-hatching, or any, like, clear dark parts to it, it takes away from the purpose of it. Like, it makes him look more like he has actual white hair, when that is not what it is. It is this, like, white beyond white. It is this, like, almost filled with energy hair, even though that isn't what it is. Like, it is the hair of liberation. And I think this gets it across way better. Zaku, that is perfect. But yeah, so I do think this has its own appeal. Like, this isn't what I like about the hair, but at the same time, like, the rest of his body is so clear, like, it's all like covered in big black energy scars. Like, I think it does give it more of a fallen angel sort of look. I mean, this might be my favorite Shigaraki image. Either this or, like, him breaking out, like, fully coming into his power for the first time. One of those two. Also, sorry, I got it. When you're talking, when I started talking about the cover, I interrupted myself. What I wanted to say before that is also that I really like Shigaraki as an overall character now. Like, as someone who started off wanting to be radicalized, but not actually having a reason, and then falling into a reason. Partially because, he had some level of amnesia. He didn't fully understand, his past. But then also partially because of his experiences with, the downtrodden of society. I think that is really cool because that is fairly true to life. There are a lot of people who start off looking for a fight or looking for some sort of rebellion, and then they find it, and then they do, like, sometimes it turns out really well, sometimes it turns out really awfully. But it is a cool archetype for a character. And I will still say, I don't like him very much at all at the start of the series, but I think that's fine. I think now we're also really seeing, like, the modifications to Shigaraki, like, more so than just the raw strength. I think it's also, like, the stamina. People really underestimate the importance of stamina any series. Like, it doesn't matter how fast you are or how strong you are. If you get too tired too fast, then you're done. I do think a big part of why people underestimate it is because a lot of big series do play very fast and loose with the concept of being tired. Like, sometimes you get a second wind, and then you can't just keep on fighting for like 50 more chapters. Also, we are bringing up that, of course, Endeavor only has fire, so he doesn't have, Shoto's balance of if he gets too hot, he cools down, if he gets too cold, he heats back up. Like, it is a straight, if he uses lots of crazy fire attacks, he's going to just warm up. There is no cooling down, apart from just, taking a breather. Oh no, Gran Torino! I mean, this must also be, like, it doesn't seem that emotionally affected by this, but this has to be messing with him. Oh, is this a Nana flashback? Yeah, we didn't get the borders or anything, so it weirded me out for a second, but yeah, that has to be what this is. You heroes hurt your own families just to help complete strangers. But, yeah. I mean, I guess what they're trying to cast this in the light of, yes, she did have to abandon him, but at the same time, like, there was no helping it. I mean, that does beg the question. Was it? Was it worth it? Was it right? I mean, I am definitely not a fan of, the concept of a villain saying, hey, it's really bad that you hurt your families, when it's like, oh yeah, the reason you hurt your families is because I keep blowing up houses, and you have to keep on you have to stop me from blowing up these houses, which means I'm really, putting a dent in your life. Oh no. Is it ironic? Is this the minus no? I don't think so. I mean, the chapter title is Plus Ultra. I think you have to believe in it, if nothing else. That's what the series is. Okay, so yeah, he is starting to wear down. I mean, he's doing, like, as he should be, considering all of this, but still. Okay, they're doing it. They might be able to take him out. Oh, this paneling is so cool. That is one hell of an endeavor. Okay. Those fools still don't know that I've got this. So, yeah, we did see him, take one of the bullets, if not multiple of the bullets. So, what's his plan? Okay, one in each hand. That would make sense. I thought this was supposed to be the same bullet twice. But yeah, I do see what you mean, by the way. This does feel like some real Shigaraki plus Ultra. That would make sense. I was thinking one in Ryuku, one in Deku, but that would still leave the problem of Aizawa. And yeah, like, if anyone needs to be taken out right now by Shigaraki, it would be Aizawa. That does still leave one other, which I don't know if he would give it, pump in Ryuku just to immediately get out of the situation, or if he would pump it into Deku. Which I could see both being really interesting, especially if the mangaka wants to go for a, Deku doesn't actually have 7 quirks. I could see a situation where the other quirks burn themselves out in order to protect All For One. Because, presumably, All For One is a power that stockpiles power, and it also, pulls in the other quirk, the other quirk factors that people have put into it, or that its former users have had. So presumably, if you were to reverse that, what you would be reversing is not, how do I put this? As I understand it, the reason the quirk bullets reverse your quirk is because they're somehow designed to take Ares' DNA, which just, Ares' flesh, which will just generally reverse anything, and it specifically targets the quirk factor in the body. Most people have, a pretty basic quirk factor. So reversing just that so that it doesn't exist makes sense to me inherently as a, this, I'm just going to remove your organ, or I'm going to take your liver, which has existed for 20 years, and just reverse it to nothing. I do think that it would make sense for, All For One, which has existed for a long time, over 100 years at the very least, to be able to take the full amount of flesh from the bullet and still exist as a physical thing. Also, yeah, tearing through her hand is rough. Oh, boy. This was a wild chapter. I mean, poor Gran Torino for sure. Did we see where he was after that? I mean, he was just kind of smashed into the ground. So, He might be dead. I don't think so. But I mean, if that's how he goes out, that's a real dark way to go out. I mean, best possible situation I think would be he aims at Aizawa, shoots it, and then I don't remember his name, but the guy using the water powers on him right now takes the bullet for him. I feel like that would be probably the least bad thing to happen here, but I don't think we can go under the pretense of the least bad thing happening in this. Like, there's no way. He could hit Bakugo, but oh man. And I feel like in a meta sense, he can't hit Endeavor with it. Because if he were to hit Endeavor, like we just started doing his arc with, as being the new number one. But yeah, like clearly he's aiming at Aizawa, so I'm going to go with he shoots at Aizawa and someone takes the bullet then. And I do think the second bullet is probably going towards Deku. I really like that concept. I don't have a lot of faith in it. Or it might be, he shoots one bullet at Aizawa, he keeps the other palms, and then, like, if the first one doesn't work out, he then shoots the second one. I will leave it at that. Also, actually, now that I think about it, can Aizawa negate the power of the bullets? Because it is a quirk. Like, it isn't, like, Ares, a special person with special blood that, happens to do this. Like, it is her quirk that reverses things. And that is her flesh that then activates when it touches someone else. So there is the very real I guess then that depends on like what constitutes as seeing it, because it is in a big casing, so there's no way that like you would be able to physically look at the flesh. Like you can cover yourself up with a with a sheet, and then his power won't work on you. So I don't think we can work our way out of it that way. Boy, this was a good chapter. I feel very blessed to say that I don't think anything in this issue has been a truly bad chapter. Like, even Bone Collection, which is at the very bottom. Like, I did think it was a noble final chapter of the series. Not so much that I would say, please read Bone Collection, please don't. So there's so many other better things to read. But it was fine in its own way, so this was overall just really, really good as a issue of Jump. I think I have to put it below Undead Unluck. Maybe above? I'll put it above, actually. Yes. So, final ranking is this. I shall post it. Oh no, non-shonen Jump. And let's hit those author comments real quick before we leave. Oh yeah, Blue Exorcist. I should catch up with Blue Exorcist. Are they out of the flashback yet? It's been like 2 years. Kubo here. It'll only be for a short time, but thanks for having me. Drawing manga for the first time in a while is fun. I'm glad to have him back. It feels good having Tight Kubo back in Jump overall. Oh boy, if Dr. Stone doesn't already have like a goofy chibi spin-off, there's definitely got to be one where Otome Ryu really means the like young girl martial arts or something. I don't quite know how you would make that joke work. I feel like it would be very gross knowing Boichi. What is Hajime Komoto? What is this man? This man does not deserve to exist. Being in the same magazine as Kubo Sensei again is getting me all hyped. Better do my best. Aw, yeah. Akutami, what are you doing? Also, he hasn't been talking about Jujutsu Kaisen for a while. I'm kind of concerned. Is the series doing okay? I guess it must be the opposite, actually. Usually what he talks about is, like, just bad things. Or, like, hey, I messed this up. So maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's doing so well that he has nothing to say about it. I mean, I had to throw away, like, all the fish we had in the house because, like, a combination of the extreme heat and also, like, risking it on the food that's, like, a day or two away from being expired. Like, it didn't work out for us this week. So, can't really throw too much shade at Akutami. I went to thank people involved with Tokyo One Piece Tower on its final day. Really? Tokyo One Piece Tower is gone? I'm surprised. I thought it was doing really well. I mean, to be fair, with the pandemic and everything, maybe they're just taking a hiatus. Maybe they're just saying, we can't keep doing this during the pandemic. My third funeral of the year so far. Jeez. Oh, boy. I mean, thought. Oh boy, Horikoshi. I mean, that's COVID, but Jesus. I I hope he's doing okay. Welcome home, Kubo Sensei. I made and ate my own parfait. I want to eat a parfait from a shop. Thank you, Fujimoto. Oh, hopefully it's deaths in My Hero Academia. Though, I mean, stating it here does immediately. I mean, we're in the author comments, so I don't want to say anything about MHA specifically, but did he just confirm a death that may or may not have happened? I had to use Kaioken times 20 to do the heroine poster, but it was really invigorating. Okay, now I'm actually kind of curious, because I know they do a heroine poster every year. I mean, Emma from the Promised Neverland is no longer in Jump right now, so that is one of the big restraining bolts that they had for the longest time, but they have other female characters. Oh boy, this is so small. Let me see if I can find a better one. That should be... Ah, yeah, there we are. I mean, thankfully, someone looked at, the opportunity to do the heroine poster and went, oh, I guess I'm going to do Sensei from We Never Learn because she is actually the most popular character. Let's actually do that. I mean, this also came out, like, 2 weeks ago, I believe? Or no, it was the double issue. So yeah, like, they printed the double issue before before that stuff came out. So, like, even physically, they weren't able to change it, let alone, I don't know if they would have changed it for the digital release. I do know that the last chapter of Factage did not come out digitally, but it did come out in the physical thing because, they preprint those. It's a shame, like, I like Kay, but now I can't enjoy her as a human being anymore, which sucks. And then, of course, we have Makima over here, looking terrifying. This is a good combination. This is actually a perfect Makima expression. Like, there's nothing about this that... I mean, the eyes, I guess, are a little scary, but nothing about it is immediately terrifying. But, like, the very thin smile, the eyes... Actually, never mind. I guess this is terrifying. The, like, 2 dots for a nose that look almost Voldemort-esque. Yeah, you know what? I'm turning my entire thing around. This is just a scary Makima. It's also interesting to see, like, who happens to be at the very front. I guess Uraraka also counts as being at the very front because she is, so very big. I also do appreciate that almost all of these that I've seen that have come out post My Hero has, they have used Uraraka's floating as opposed to just having her stand around somewhere. I mean, I think it'd be cool if other characters got to do that as well, but it's fine. Oh, hey, Roboco's here! I'm honestly so surprised that Kentaro was willing to do Roboco as opposed to just drawing the I can't even remember it right now. But the generic maid robot in the series. Also, the main character of Ayakashi Triangle is here, which is also quite nice. Like, yeah. Pyra's there. Yeah, this is pretty decent. This is fine. Like, it's not super special. It's not something where I'm looking at and going like, this is the best. My favorite is still definitely the one that Taishi Susui drew. Just because I like his art style a lot more, and I thought it was, like, the whole maid theme was super cute. And I do hope that if you find the sexually appealing, that it is extremely appealing for you. I think that's, it's cool. Oh, actually, yeah, I guess I wouldn't be able to tell if a character from Hard World Coffin Dolphin was here or not. I can recognize almost everyone else, though. And you would assume, then, that the character I wouldn't be able to recognize would be... actually, is there anyone here from A Gravity Boys? To be fair, I don't remember a lot of girls from A Gravity Boys, apart from the main cop girl, and then that maid alien they saved in the first 3 chapters. Yeah, now I'm actually very curious. What? Actually, let's go over here. So, someone actually wrote down all of these from left to right. Let me split screen this. Actually, how is this going to work, split screens? What exactly do you guys see? Okay, so you just see that. So, I can say from left to right, Kohaku from Dr. Stone, of course. Mutsumi is up here. Ochiko, My Hero Academia. Noelle from Black Clover. Lemon. Boy, I forgot that Lemon was a character. Mafiu Sensei. Then Chris. Wait, that's Chris? Chris has dark hair, right? What? Does he have white hair? Chris has white hair. What? There's no way. I refuse to believe this. Yeah, like, it's definitely light, but it's definitely not white, right? Anyways, so that's Chris. Then, of course, Roboco. Then, Rena from Spirit Busters. Also, almost unrecognizable. But, I mean, yeah, sure. I'll buy it. Then after that, we have Shoko from Mora King up here. Yeah, that's fine. Oh no, whoops. That's Shoko. This is Fuko. Ruru and Magu, of course, from Magu-chan. Okay, I see what they're saying. Sorry, this list is wild as heck. But okay, yeah. So Shoko's up there. Fuko from Undead Unluck. Then Ruru. Then Nami down here. Then Pyra from Bone Collection. Then, I know. That's Chris's hair! I completely did not realize that. What? I mean, to be fair, we probably had a color page in the very first chapter, but... Yeah, okay, never mind. Never mind. Let me check the color page. Now that this is actually being brought to my attention, I feel like that's accurate. Yeah, it's right here. Yeah, I guess that is the same color. I guess I have to accept it. But yeah, so this is Ruru then from this is Umi from Hard-Boiled Cop and Dolphin. And then yeah, Matsuri, Nobara, Makima down here, Kei up here. Yeah. Should I timestamp this as its own segment? It took so long. But it was fun. Like, I mean, in general, I do really like... I think the main reason I like the Heroine posters is also that, like, it's a big group shot of different characters, all in one style, and they're not the main characters. Like, okay, depending on the series, sometimes they are, but usually the heroine in each series is not the main character. So it's so unjump to have a bunch of other characters take the spotlight. I mean, I would say Chris is the heroine, and to be fair, like, he is a live streamer. He is like as much as he might not like it sometimes, he does also embrace it in some way. So I don't feel bad about him being the heroine. The previous issue had a one-shot by my mentors. I made such a stupid comment on this page. How embarrassing. What did he say last time? Oh yeah, this one. Whoops. That feel when your mentor goes back and jump and they look at the author comments and you're talking about all the children's swimsuits in your search history. By the way, if you haven't seen it, I just noticed it's over here. Ah, yeah, the Naruto 4 movie collection. See, this is an okay-ish cover, but there's definitely a much better cover. Actually, no. This might be... This isn't the one I'm thinking of, is it? No, this is Shippuden. Oh, yeah, this is the one I was thinking of. If anyone hasn't seen this, please feast your eyes. God, I can't tear my eyes away from the Naruto face. It's so powerful. Although, like, I do have to give credit where credit is due. I think Sasuke looks fine here. Like, I think Sasuke does have, like, clearly it is all sort of Mega Man a little bit, but I think Sasuke looks good in that style, whereas Naruto has the real chubby cheeks. It's real worrying. This is for the first 4 Naruto movies. So I don't remember the villains from the first 4 Naruto movies, but they're definitely here. I'm pretty sure this guy was from the first movie with the Snow Village. I think this guy was from the second movie. I don't remember anyone else. I only remember the first 2 movies very vaguely. I mean, I mostly remember that in the first movie, Naruto did the Rainbow Rasengan, and in the second movie, he took in the Gilel energy that gave him green glowing power, and then he did a green Rasengan. Oh, that is really cool. Meanwhile, frustration and regrets, but I'll level up and return someday. At least I was able to share short moments in the same magazine as my idol Kubo-sensei. You know what? I like Jun Kirazaka. Like, Bone Collection was definitely not my favorite series, but it was fine. It was good enough that I read it until it ended. So, you know what? I'm happy. I hope that he gets better, that he becomes a better mangaka, and then he comes back and he... I guess he probably won't run with Kubo ever again, because I doubt Kubo's going to keep on coming back, but, I like him. Of all the mangaka who have run and jump for a little bit and then been kicked out. I like him. I mean, I assume Rainbow Rasengan is actually stronger because it has the power of the big machine in the first movie that brings spring to the land of eternal winter. I could do Rasengan ranking, but I don't think that's a good use of my time right now. Maybe in the redirects. Check out the redirects. But anyways, you've seen the rankings, you've seen the author comments. It's time for everyone to leave, including me. Thank you all so very much for watching. Oh, by the way, I won't say it here at the end of this video. Watch the redirect and or check out the server. I do have an announcement to make that I forgot to make. So yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye for now. Nya nya.